to 3 days. I do have some preliminary information. The airplane was November 959 Mike Juliet, which is MJ 959 MJ, which is a Cessna 414A. That's a multi-engine airplane, a propeller airplane, which is a passenger airplane. There's one person on board that was fatally injured. There's no reports right now that there was anyone in the home. We're very happy to learn that. We also would like to express the condolences of the pilot on board who was, again, fatally injured. The flight departed from the Leesburg Airport, which is just outside of the Washington, D.C. area, about 9:50 a.m. this morning. The destination was Linden, New Jersey, which is just about 3.5 miles northeast of the accident site. The pilot did file an instrument flight rules flight plan. And preliminary information shows that the pilot was communicating with air traffic control and was cleared for an approach into Linden Airport. And the airplane subsequently lost radar contact and lost communications with the airplane. At this point in time, we have no information that there was a distress call made from the pilot, but that will be under further investigation. The weather conditions about the time of the accident at Linden Airport, the winds were calm, there was an overcast cloud layer, and the visibility was reported as 10 miles. So I'd like to reiterate that this is the preliminary fact-finding stage of the investigation. We just arrived on scene. We expect to be here for about 2 to 3 days. The most critical phase of the investigation right now is gathering those facts, and specifically the facts that we would call perishable evidence, meaning that with the passage of time, it's going to get a lot more difficult for us to collect that information. So what I mean by that is the exact condition of the flight controls, the exact condition of the engine, log books that may or may not be on the aircraft will all be items that we're documenting here on scene while the aircraft is recovered. The airplane will be recovered to just outside the Hartford, Connecticut area, where the investigation will continue. I am assisted here by one additional investigator, but I do have a team of specialists at our Washington, D.C. headquarters that will support our investigation, where we'll be looking at the air traffic control aspects of the investigation, the weather conditions, and then the pilot and human factors of what was the pilot facing for this flight. The next report that the NTSB will issue is the preliminary report that will detail factual information that we learned on site during our on-site work here. The final report that the NTSB issues will be issued in anywhere from 18 to 24 months, which will have the final factual information, our analysis, and the probable cause that the NTSB board members determine. The purpose of this investigation, the NTSB is in charge of investigating every civil aircraft accident in the United States. We not only want to figure out what happened, but why the accident happened to prevent future accidents from occurring again. Safety recommendations that apply, that is the purpose of why we are here. Before I take questions, I'd like to thank the first responders for securing the scene and all the work that they do. So I'd like to take a few questions on our process and the limited facts that I can discuss.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the crash, where the plane landed, the condition of the plane now, what you guys are just seeing on the scene?
The airplane did impact a house. It impacted, we believe, 3 houses, and is basically a part of one house. And so that will be a challenge for the recovery efforts, but it's something that we have worked with before, and we'll get the airplane recovered and do a full investigation like we normally would.
How long do you expect it to take to get the plane out of the house, and how does that happen? Is it piece by piece? Do you want to keep things intact?
Yes, so the question is, how will we get the airplane out? A recovery crew will be assisting in the effort. The airplane will be pulled out piece by piece. And as we pull that wreckage out piece by piece, we'll be examining the condition of those components, such as the flight controls, the engine, and anything else, everything that we can find.
What can you tell us about the pilot, his name, how many years have you been flying?
The NTSB does not release the name of the pilot. That is something that the local authorities will handle through the normal process. The final investigation will cover the qualifications of the pilot, the flight times the individual had, and their experience in the airplane. So at this point in time, we don't have that information, but that most certainly will be a part of our preliminary report and our final report.
Have you been able to interview witnesses on the ground that have given you the full information?
We have received one Nest video that shows the airplane flying overhead, and it was quite a distance away from the accident site. So we do ask that if there are witnesses, to visit the ntsb.gov, that's ntsb.gov webpage, and you can see the eyewitness email address where you can communicate if you saw this airplane. That address also will be the location of where our preliminary report will be released.
Given the weather report, can you describe what challenges this pilot probably faced in the air and was it wise to be flying on a day like today?
The question was what challenges the pilot may have faced during this flight given the weather conditions. The airplane was certified to fly in instrument flight rules, and so that's a normal condition that an airplane may fly in. So those particular challenges and the exact type of approach that this pilot was flying will be a part of the final report. And so that's something that in this phase of the investigation, we're focusing on, again, the perishable evidence. I have two more questions. The question was the airplane intact? That will most certainly be a part of the critical work that we're going to be doing on scene in the next few days. What we like to call that is finding the four corners of the airplane. So doing the best we can to make sure all of the airplane is here. And given the state of the wreckage and in the house, that'll be one of the challenging aspects of the recovery process, but we'll accomplish that in the next, again, in the next 2 to 3 days. And the preliminary factual report will detail the components in the flight control services that we find on scene. One more question.
How long will it take to remove the plane? Precisely how long is that process?
The question is how long it will take to recover the airplane. Again, it will be a piece-by-piece effort, and we expect it to take about 2 to 3 days. Given the weather conditions, it may take longer. So I thank you for your time. The next information that you'll receive, again, is that preliminary report on our website in about 10 days. Thank you very much.